you have mail. Or in other words, let's add custom networking and explain codecs in this tutorial. Let's see. If you want to go deeper, the 26.x modding courses are linked down below. 30 plus hours covering complex block entities with fluid and energy handling, custom mobs, custom networking, and even custom biomes and dimensions. Everything you need for 26.x all in one place, linked down below in the description. Right, we find ourselves back in tutorial once more, and in this tutorial we'll be adding custom networking, specifically client to server, and with it we will also explain stream codec specifically, and you will understand how that works, how it sort of fits together, and you're going to say, you know what, this is actually not as crazy as I might think. So for this, what are we going to need? Well, we're going to go into our tutorial mod package and make a new package called networking. There we go. There we need another new package, and that's going to be our package. It sounds a little bit crazy, but that's what we have, because packets are discrete sort of, packets of data that we're going to send via the network from the client to the server, or in theory from the server to the client. In our case, we're going to send it from the client to the server. So when we press our Kaupen key that we've added last time over here with the mod key mappings, or when we press this Kaupen key, that is when we're going to send a packet to the server, and the server is going to do something. Now, this is going to look like this. The packet itself is going to be called the test packet, and then S2C. I always highly recommend you end your packets with the sort of direction that you are going from the client to the server. It's just a very handy way to immediately see, aha, this is a package that's sent from the client to the server. Just a recommendation here. Then we will have in the networking package a client payload handler. This will handle packets from the client to the server. Okay. I always like to add this just in case, because it's very, very easy to, make a mistake right here. And this is also here. We are on the server, right? This is very important. We are on the server. That's a very, very big sort of thing. I really like to add this in the classes over here when it comes to networking, just so that I know it. Yes, there's all sorts of other ways that, you're seeing the CTS and things like that. That's all fine. But still, I want it like explicitly written out in my personal opinion. I think that is helpful. If you don't need it, that's totally fine. You don't necessarily need it. I'm just saying you what helps me, I guess. Now, for a packet, we will make this a record first of all, and then we're going to have the following. We're going to implement this is the custom packet payload interface over here, where we will need to implement the type method. That's the only method that we need to do. We can actually make this a deliberate error over here, and then let's see. The type is very straightforward, and then the stream codec, that's a little bit more complicated, but I will show you. Now, in our custom packet over here, in theory, we wouldn't need to send any data, but then I couldn't explain the stream codec. So that's not fun. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a string name and an int value over here. Okay, so far so good. Let's do the type first, which is going to be a public static final type. This is going to be of of custom packet payload of type, and then whatever packet we're in. So test packet C2S. This is the type, equal to a new type. This is a new type right here, passing in identifier from namespace and path, tutorial mod.modID, and then let's say task packet over here. That's going to be okay. There we go. So this is the type, and we can return the type right here, but making sure it's actually the type field and not the type class. There we go. So this is the first step of this craziness. The second step is to make the stream codec. Now, we're going to do this with the string and the int, and then I'm going to replace this, and I'm going to explain this, because so this is slightly different from a codec. It's very important. There's two things, right? Just to show you. Codec is JSON files, right? So this is reading and writing. And what does that mean is the idea is that turns a Java class, sometimes a record, into a JSON file and reads and creates, let's actually do it like this, creates a Java class instance from a JSON file. That's the idea. That's what a codec does. A stream codec does the same thing, just network, okay? So what does that mean? Well, turns a Java class, or a record in this case, right? Record into bits for the network, right? So basically it just turns it into something that the network can understand, and then turns, bits from the network into a Java class instance. So once again, turns that back into an instance of this. So what does this mean? Basically, a stream codec or codec are basically a blueprint on how to take a particular class and turn it into a different thing, and then turn it back. And then let's create the actual stream codec. This is going to be a public static final stream codec, and you can see this is of two different types right here. The first one is sort of the byte buff. So this is going to be the type that actually gets sent through via the network. In our case, we're going to use a registry friendly byte buff. This is not strictly necessary, but I'll explain about that in just a second. And the second one is a test packet over here. Of course, CTS. This is the exact class that we're in right now. So we're basically be able to turn a test packet into a registry friendly byte buff, and then turn the registry friendly byte buff back into a test packet. That's the idea. And that is going to be the stream_codec. codec equal to stream codec.composite. And now people always be, get like, oh, I don't know what to type in here now. It's so complicated. You start typing in stuff and then, the absolute, look at the craziness over here. It's so complicated. What is this craziness? I agree. If you look at this, you're like, I don't know anything that's going on. And I'm in 100% agreement. But the idea is that when you have a composite of a stream codec here, what you want to do is you want to define what the type is. So basically we want to define via the friendly byte buff over here, right? What is the type that we're going to save in the friendly byte buff? And what is that? The same thing inside of the test pack. So we're going to say byte buff codecs. This is basically where all of the codecs for the primitive classes are saved, integer, even string in this case is saved in there. And you can see, for example, string UTF-8. That's exactly what we want here. And then the second parameter, those always come in pairs over here, is going to be test packet C2S : name. You can see this is a function over here, and there we go. And this basically is the entirety of the first parameter done, or the first field in this case even done, right? Because we say, hey, this is the type of field, and this is the field inside of our custom class. Okay, now let's think, what could the next thing be? Well, we're going to do byte buff codecs again. We're going to do var_int in this case. And now I want you to think about this really, really hard. I really want you to think about what is the next line. You should know the line if you understand the pattern. If you're like, I'm not 100% sure, listen, this is just for yourself. There are no wrong, there are wrong answers, but in the sense that think about logically what it could be. It's the same pattern that we've seen here. So the next line is going to be test packet, making sure we write this correctly, C2S : value, because we're referencing this particular field in this case, and that's what we have to put down. The final parameter to pass in here is the test packet C2S : new. That is the constructor to construct a new one of those. Now we have this, and now I want you to show you an example. Let's say I now add an item stack over here. Item stack. Now we get a lot of errors because this is not defined right here, right? It says, hey, I'm trying to make a test packet over here, but I need a stack. Where do I get a stack from? How does that work? There's two things you need to know. In most of the vanilla classes at this point, like from Minecraft, you can just use the class name, that's stream codec, and they have on them the stream codec that you need to define the similar way that this is defined. So without showing you anything, think about what we have to put in here in order to also add the item stack to this. Once again, it is not via the byte buff codecs, it is via the item stack this time. So we do item stack dot stream codec, and now let's think, what is the next line? You should know this. We've seen two examples of this. I've gone through this. Let's think about this rationally over here. Yes, it is test packet : stack. Don't forget the comma, of course. This is still a constructor over here, or like a method call that we're calling. There we go. And this is the entirety of the craziness of stream codecs. Now, if you have any other custom classes, you need to sort of go down. Let's say this all of a sudden, has like a custom class that I've made. Well, then what we would need to do is that one would also need to have a stream codec. So you need to break it down further and further and further until you basically are gone to the very beginning. Now, here in this case, we're using the registry friendly byte buff, which is from Net Minecraft Network. This is not strictly necessary because the item stack over here, we obviously don't need that, right? I just did it for demonstration purposes. And the var int over here, you can see this uses a byte buff, and this one also uses the normal byte buff. But for the item stack, I didn't need to use the registry friendly byte buff. This is just, I'm pretty sure it's not necessarily a bad thing to use a higher class on this. However, in this case, like I said, we don't necessarily need it, but it should be okay. And that is the whole craziness about stream codecs. When we get to custom recipes for block entities, then we'll also talk about codecs, and you will find that they are similarly, basically not as crazy as you might think to understand. Having created the codec now over here, quite a journey. We now go on to I would say we register this first, and that's going to happen in our event class mod events right here, and we'll just make a new public. This is a public static void, a register payloads method with a register payload handlers event. And of course, as always, exactly, @subscribe event annotation. Don't forget that. Here we're going to have a final payload registrar. This is our registrar equal to event.registrar with version 1 in this case. And then this is going to execute on the main thread here, which is going to be the default. So I don't even think that you need to actually add this, but it's fine. Registrar play to server. This means that the player is sending something to the server. And here what we define is test packet C2S.type. So we're going to define the type. No, actually the type field. There we go. Then the test packet C2S stream codec. And the third and final method is the client payload handler. This is our custom class that we created, : and then we're going to call this the handle test packet. Now this obviously is a method that does not exist yet because we're going to hover over this and create it in line. Easy enough, because that immediately creates us the test packet with an payload context over here, which is exactly what we're going to need. Now, here we are on the server. This means we can do things like entity types.cow.spawn, and then we can say context.player.level.cast. We of course need to cast this to a server level, which we can because we know here we are on the server and only on the server. When I do this on player.getOnPosition, and the entity spawn reason is going to be triggered. And now this handle test packet, every time that a packet of this type comes in, so the test packet C2S, we're going to spawn a cow. That's the whole idea that what's going to happen. And because this is sent from client to server, what we can now do is send it from client to server. How do we do that? Well, we first of all have to be on the client. Now, luckily, look at this. Here, we are on the client. Oh, as if I had, foreseen it, that we would do it right here. Now, how do we send a packet to the server? We're going to use the client packet distributor.send to server, and then make a new test packet C2S right here with, let's say, the name Kaupenjoe and a value of, I don't even know, 67. There we go. Now, right now, the Kaupenjoe and the 67 right here is not really used. Of course, I can use it, right? I could do a I could do a print line, or we could use it in some capacity over here. But in this case, it's totally fine. This is just for like demonstration purposes in this case, that you can basically send some data with your packets. And I also desperately wanted to explain the stream codec because I do think that it makes a lot of sense to have that explained somewhere over here. But with that being said, now our pressing of the key will actually do something. Well, I mean, something as in more than just saying I just pressed the key right here. So let's jump into the game and see if it works. All right, Fonzo's back in Minecraft, and let's just press the K button, and you can see, or the K key, and you can look at that. A cow will spawn, and yes, it is an actual cow, and yes, I can, while I can keep holding it down, I think that might be like too much for the server, but I can just, spam key K over here, it doesn't matter, and we're getting cows out of the way. So now I can hold it down. Now that is a Kaupenjoe. Damn. But yeah, this is all real stuff, and that's custom networking for you. Kind of crazy. Whoa. Absolutely fantastic. That's gonna be it for this tutorial right here. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all the patrons and the YouTube members. Don't forget, if you join as a Stonebricks member on YouTube, you can get up to 40 days of early access, including this video right here, where we'll modify some vanilla loot tables. Hope to see you there. So yeah.